G'day guys, how you doing? Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to go through how to wash a car properly so you can get professional results at home whilst minimizing swirls in your paint and get that awesome wet look shine to the paint when you're done, month to month. I'm not going to go through how to coat a car properly. This is more like a maintenance coating during month-to-month washes. I might do a video later on like a full process of coating a car to protect it for a long period of time. Today's video is a bit long. I'm sorry about that, but stick it out. I do have some great tips in there. I've been cleaning cars now for 13 years. I've learned a lot and I've refined my method so that it comes out really nice. So in the shortest period of time, you get a really great result at home. Excuse the quality of the video. Apparently I forgot Camera Basics 101 when I recorded it and took some terrible angles, cut half my head off half the time, horrific lighting, but stick it out. The tips are still great in there and you can still see clearly how to do this properly. One thing to remember, unfortunately there's no quick way of washing a car properly. Going through those quick washes doesn't work. Those touchless washes don't work because you end up drying it and leaves spots anyway. And those car wash guys just don't. Alright, don't go there. It's as bad as the intro to this video. I worked at one when I was 16 and they literally used scourers to wash some of the dirt off the paint. So do yourself a favor, stick this video out, learn a few things, and your car will just look so much better for it. Alright, so number one, you want to make sure you wash your car either early in the morning or early in the evening, in shade, out of direct sunlight. The reason you want to wash your car in direct sunlight is because between the UV and the heat, it's really easy for it to leave marks and streaks and water spots, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We want a nice clean result at the end of the day. The other thing you want to note is, even if you take your car out of direct sunlight into shade, the last thing you want to be doing is washing on panels that are hot to the touch. So if this is the case, you got to make sure you either rinse the car down to cool the panels off before you apply any snow foam, or leave it in the shade and let it cool off before you do anything. Alright, rule number 2 guys is make sure you always dry your car and dry it properly. Unless you have really well filtered water at home, the likelihood is it's going to leave spots if you don't dry it. And these spots are hard to clean off, especially if you've done it over and over, and they always look horrible in the sun. So make sure you dry the car. Alright, so number 3, I kind of touched on this during the video, but one, get yourself a decent wash mitt, a microfiber wash mitt. I'll put links in the description below to all these products. 2, make sure you use a pH neutral soap. I cannot stress this enough. You need to use a pH neutral soap if you want your protection to last. If you use something like dish soap, that's like a really aggressive degreaser, or like a cheap soap, you'll strip these coatings straight off and you may as well not even bother putting them on the last time, especially if you don't replenish them this time. So yeah, decent soap and a good wash mitt. Right, so here's the basic stuff you're going to need. Now you might not have all of it, you don't need all of it. If anything from today you take away is that you're going to need 3 buckets. If I don't teach you anything else, 3 buckets, right? You need 2 buckets, you need a rinse bucket and a wash bucket for the car, the paint, and you need a bucket separately for the rims. You can do 2 buckets as well, but you don't really have to because the rims they deal with it. Alright, so 3 buckets. If anything else from today, 3 buckets, and do not use dish soap. Please don't do it. Go and buy yourself some decent soap. That's it. Right, if nothing else from today, 3 buckets and decent soap. Right, so let's go through it. Right, so as I explained, 3 buckets. Why? You need a wash bucket, rinse bucket, and a wheel bucket. Also inside the buckets for the car, you need these. Now these are called guards, and what they do is they sit at the bottom of the bucket and it allows you to clean off your sponge or wash mitt, and all the dirt basically, and you'll be able to see because I haven't cleaned this bucket out, all the dirt gets trapped at the bottom of the bucket under the water. So under the grit guard's all your rubbish, and then above the grit guard is clean water to use for your car. And then a wheel bucket. Again, so this bucket and anything in this bucket should only ever touch the rims, nothing else. Rims and tires, nothing else, right? And why that is because the brake dust has little metal filings and stuff in it, and if you use that wash mitt on your paint, you're gonna swirl it, guaranteed. So don't do it, right? Trust me. 3 buckets. So for soap, I use something like the VO7 High Gloss Car Wash soap from Chemical Guys. This soap is a super slick soap, so it helps prevent against swirls by lubricating the paint. It's got a high gloss finish, it's pH balanced, so it helps protect coatings, and it rinses off without leaving residue behind. It also assists with protecting against UV, which is really helpful when you live somewhere like Australia. I do use other soaps, such as Gion has some really good soaps in their range, and I also use the Meguiar's, the yellow wash and wax. But what I find is soaps like the VO7 or anything from Gion tend to be better quality and work out cheaper in the long run. So just remember that when you're looking to buy a good soap. So, in our wheel bucket, what do we got? We got some wheel woolies. These are great. I'll stick a link down. I can't remember how much they are. I'm pretty sure I paid like 60 bucks for these. They normally come in 3s. These are well used. I mean, they've lasted me like seven years now plus. So they last. It's not like this stuff's only gonna last you like a year or something. Like, this stuff really does last if you look after it. So these are great. So I'll show you how to use these later on. Microfiber cloth. This is what I use to dry the rims, and it's specific for the rims. I don't use it anywhere else. And a wash mitt for the rims. And the other thing you want is a little brush like this, and I'll show you what you use this for later on. The other thing that are really handy, pressure cleaner with a snow foam lance. Now again, I broke my bottle, so this one has lasted me like 8 years. So none of this stuff you're gonna have to buy should break anytime soon if you look after it. I'm probably due for a new one, but still does the job fine. So snow foam lance and a pressure cleaner, right? Stephen, I don't have a pressure cleaner and I don't want to go and spend $100 on a snow foam lance. Right, no worries. You can also get these. I'm just going to throw everything around. You can also get these. They're about 50, 60 bucks from like Repco's super cheap. They work okay. I mean, they plug directly into your hose, so that'll work with any hose. They work alright, but I find they use a lot more product and a lot faster than what a proper snow foam lance will. So if you're absolutely desperate, by all means, but you're going to go through a lot more product. So the extra 50 bucks to get one of those, and I suppose the extra 200 bucks to get a pressure cleaner, it will eventually pay itself off. I actually bought this to wash my dogs with. It like works really great for that, because I have a really fluffy dog. So that's why I bought that. Other thing you'll need is some snow foam wash. So I like the Chemical Guys Honeydew. The other stuff that works really well is your Gion Q2M foam. Now why I like these two over something from like Autoglym or anything like that in the shops is the dilution rate is really good. So like this, for example, 30 to 60 ml per litre of water in your snow foam lance, and that's about the same from memory, around there. Whereas the Autoglym one I used before, although it foamed up really nice, you had to use 200 ml per litre, per litre lance, which is a heap. Like, that's a heap. It's a lot of product, and so like this 5 litre or 4 litre bottle, it's about 120 bucks ish, and that will last you like the whole year almost if you do it properly. And like a little bottle like that will last me months, and I wash a car every weekend without fail. And a little little 250 ml, well, little 500 ml bottle, will last me months. So, and then that was like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, not even. So good quality for money if you go that way. If you don't get the stuff you get from super cheap and all that. Other things you're gonna need, If you want, you know, some tire shine, I recommend getting like the Nanolex or the Gion or something like that over like anything you spray out of a can. It just sticks to the tire better, and we'll go through later on how to apply that without getting the sling afterwards, because I know that's a pain in the ass. Something like this, Autoglym Polar Seal, is the bomb. Honestly, this stuff's amazing. I love it. It's the best thing I found when I came across it, and it works. It's just killer. So we'll go through that. The other thing you're gonna want is like an aqua wax, or like I use this Optics Funnel Boost, so I'm trying it out, and the first try on the Skyline, amazing. This stuff's wicked. So you want to use this whilst drying, and I'll go through why when we get to it. But you want like an aqua wax or something like that, so when you're drying the car you can add a film of protection and lubrication when you're drying it. Because the whole goal of all of this in front of you is to minimize swirls in the paint. Minimize the chances of scratching the paint. Right, now I'm lucky I have a silver car, so swirls don't show up very easily. Now I haven't corrected this car, but if you were to look at it like that, it looks killer, right? But if this was a black car, it would be horrendous, because there are actually swirls, quite a few swirls in it, but we won't go there. So silver or white, you're really lucky. Black or red, like Skyline, you got to be really careful and make that paint look good all the time. Now the last thing you're going to need is either a drying towel like this, and again you can get one of these from Car Care Products. All the links will be in the description below for everything that you've seen in front of you. So you can either get one of those. I mean, they work really well and they last. They're just really hard to wring out, and so I don't like them. So once they've absorbed a lot of water, then that's kind of it, which is a real hassle on the wagon. The way I prefer to do it, in the way that I learnt from Ammo, which I'll put a link to Larry's YouTube channel. If you want to learn anything detailing, Larry Casilla from Ammo NYC, dude's a legend. Like, that dude is where it's at. He's about as good as it comes, detailers. So get yourself like some decent quality microfiber towels and use these instead, and I'll show you how to use them and the best way to use them to dry your car. And it's a little bit longer to do it this way, but an extra 10 minutes worth of effort goes a hell of a long way when it comes to the car's paint afterwards, right? So we just gotta wait for some shade. We'll pull the car into the shade and let's get started, and I'll show you how to wash your car. Right, so first things first, you want to fill your buckets with some water. Now, the secret here is you don't want to put any soap in your buckets yet. Just fill them with water. So your rinse bucket, you want to fill just below half with some nice warm water. Right, then fill up your wash bucket. Again, the reason you don't put soap in, so you don't put soap in your rinse bucket because that's your rinse bucket, but in your wash bucket, the reason you don't put soap in straight away is because then you get a lot of bubbles, because soap suds quite a bit, and then you won't fill your bucket all the way. It's important to get, especially with like a big car like mine, you want a full bucket because you will use basically pretty much all of the water by the end of it. So yeah, make sure no soap yet, we'll put soap in after. Now this is also a good time to get your wash mitt and give it a good rinse underwater. Just obviously it's been sitting, any dust and any crap that could have been in there. So give your wash mitt a good rinse before you stick it in your bucket to make sure you don't contaminate your water. Alright, here we go. Chuck that in one of your buckets. Next, you're going to want to fill up your snow foam lance. So, you want 1 to 2 ounces for the lance. So that's 30 to 60 mil. So I found about a squirt's about 10 mil. So we'll put 6 squirts in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting with Steve today, right? So we got 6 squirts in there, and you want to fill this with warm water, and the warm water helps it foam better, right? So don't want it like super hot because then it'll affect the rubber. And the gun, nice warm water. Alright, there we go. Stick your lid on and she's ready to go. Right, so when you're washing the car, you want to start with the rims. Before you do anything else, don't foam the car, don't do any of that. Wash the rims first. So let's go through how we're going to do that. Right, now this is where your wheel woolies come in really handy. So you want to get them nice and wet in the soap, and then you want to start at the top and you want to get it right in the back. Right in the back, and wash the inside of the rim. Right, the whole way around. Get it right in there. Clean the rim up. Always start at the inside of the rim, right? Then behind the brake caliper, this is where the smaller ones come in handy. Get in there and make sure you clean it, right? Right, now you might be thinking, yeah, but Stephen, you didn't use any of that iron out stuff, that magical formula that gets rid of all the brake dust. No, I didn't, because if you wash your rims like this once a month, you don't need to waste the extra money on getting that stuff. Yes, it makes it easier, but it's not worth it. Like, honestly, this stuff rubs off if you follow the whole procedure that I'm going to show you. If you haven't washed your rims in like a year and it's like caked on, yes, get the iron out. Use it on the rims and get the stuff off, but then you don't need to waste your money on that stuff every month. It's pretty expensive and you can go through it pretty quickly, especially if you wash cars as often as I do. Right? Okay, so we go through, we do all that, we get the back of the rim nice and clean. Now the back of the rim's nice and clean, this is where the other little brush that I showed you earlier comes in handy. So you get that, you get it nice and foamy, and you get in there and you get on the caliper itself. Right? You want to clean all the brake dust off the caliper. And the brush just makes it easier, right? So you get it in there, clean all the little grooves. Do you have to do this bit? Probably not. Does it look better if you do? Absolutely. Right, so do this. Right, get in there, give it a good scrub. Right, cool, that's done. Next, now depending on your type of rims, like if you got spokey rims, you can probably go back to this brush or your mitt, but sometimes I like to just use the big brush and get in there. So then you want to start cleaning all these little areas in here out. Alright, get it in there, start cleaning them up. Alright, get in all the little grooves. Alright. The reason you start at the top is because then all the water runs down and it helps you out. Right. This just helps get in all the grooves. Gets them nice and clean. Now for these like tight little grooves that I've got, when I find my smaller brush, which appears to be done, it's on the floor, that's why. Alright. So for these tight little grooves, I have this little brush that I can get right in there. I can get right in those little grooves there, right? And that just gets all the dust out of it and all the crap. And cleans it up nicely, right? You can also use like this brush, so if I got like this brush and I got in there like so, I mean that would also work, right? So we can go through, get all that, agitate it, get it nice and loose, get it off, and go through like that, right? Go through, do the whole rim, and you'll repeat this for every rim obviously, so yes, it takes a bit of time, alright? So be it. Bit of time never hurt anyone. Alright, get right in there. Alright, next step. Get your wash mitt. You want to go through and you want to reach around the back of the rim on these back faces. Why? Because if I run my hand here, alright, there's dirt there, alright? We can pull a lot of dirt off that. So, back in there, get your hand in there, get your hands a bit dirty. Alright, and clean the back of the spokes up. Back of the spokes and the hub itself, right? Now if you don't have wheel woolies like this, and if you have little hands, you can use your sponge to get into the rim. I can do it on the Skyline, I can't do it on the HSV. The HSV's rims are too tight for the brakes and stuff. So depending on the car will depend whether or not you really need wheel woolies. Alright, let's get in there, give that a good clean. Right, then I like to just run it across the face of the rim, like that, get any residual dust off in here around the lug nuts. Again, you can use your brush to get in around the lug nuts and give them a good clean. Right, get all the dust out from in between there, okay, and then you do the face. And then again, clean your wheel, right? Wheels get dirty too. Clean the wheel. And this is important if you're going to be putting tyre shine on. Tyre shine doesn't like sticking to dirty wheels. So if you want to use tyre shine, you've got to make sure you clean your wheels. So you can either use your wash mitt, or again, you can get the brush and give them a good clean like this, right? Now if you're really anal and you really love your car, you can get another brush to use in here. I tend not to do it. Sometimes, depending on the car, the brush doesn't fit. It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, you can do that if you want. I normally just foam it and pressure clean that, and that does just as well. Right, so let's rinse this wheel off. Alright, so that's one done. Alright, so I'll go around the car, do the rest, and then we'll get on to the rest of the car. Cool. Right, so I just wanted to show you guys something. So this is why I don't use iron out, right? So this is my front rim, it's dirty as hell. This is a month's worth of brake dust, right? It's got pretty soft pads on the HSV. The Skylines is even worse than this. But if you follow, what I've shown you and what I'm going to show you, if you come up to the rim here, right, if I run my finger across that, you see that? This brake dust is loose. It's not sticking to the surface. It's just sitting on the rim. I'll try and get a bit closer and let's see if I focus. Right, which means a pressure cleaner will get most of this off, right? And then your wash methods will do the next 10%. So you don't need to use a really heavy duty chemical cleaner to get rid of, dust that's sitting on the surface. Yeah, if you've left it for a year and it's caked on there, yes, you need the iron out, but if you follow what I'm showing you and do this monthly, this stuff will just come off, almost by rinsing it. So yeah, let me finish off these rims and we'll get on with the rest of the car. Right, so you've done your rims. The next thing you're going to want to do is foam down the car. Now, I don't pre-rinse. You can if you want, but I don't, because I'd rather the foam with the soap and it being slippery be the first thing that hits the paint, so any grime and loose dirt and stuff gets encased with the foam first, not water. So foam first, so it can cover all the dirt. So let's go ahead and do that now. Sit for about 5 minutes. Now this is a fairly big car and I have it on the max setting. I used just just less than half a bottle. So this stuff does last. So this will get me easy 2 washes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to prep our wash buckets whilst that seeps in and pulls all the dirt. You'll see it slowly seeping down, and that's what you want, because that pulls all the dirt and off the car onto the floor. So get your buckets, get your soap. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, that'll be enough. And then what I like to do to make that super sudsy, you don't have to do this, it's not a requirement, you can just pressure clean that. So I get the foam gun on just a little bit, not too much, and that makes it really sudsy. Right, so apparently I forgot to record audio whilst doing this, another technical issue with my camera. So we're going to look at the other snow foam lance, the hose attachment one. I've taken the remainder, about half a litre worth of snow foam, and put it into this lance. And what we're going to see is we're going to look at the thickness, and we're going to look at how fast it uses it. So as we can see here, the foam isn't as thick, and this is on the thicker setting of this lance. And as you can see, it's running off the paint quite quickly. Now, this would be more than adequate. If you didn't have a pressure cleaner, you could use this, like it's fine. Like it'd still do the job, it'd still help, and still make the paint less likely to swirl when you do wash it. It does help get the dirt off. Alright, so we'll go through, we'll do most of the car, and we'll see how much of the product we use.
We paint our names on distant highways.
Right, so as you can see, I've done about half of the car and I've used most of that product. So if you had a really dirty car and you wanted good coverage, you'd chew through the stuff. You'd need a full bottle minimum to do a car properly. So yeah, it's so see, I've now dialed it back, and we'll do the rest of the car and probably get through most of this, and then we'll look at another way that we can use this. There you can see with it dialed back, it's again like quite thin there with it dialed back. That doing this setting would make it last the whole car a bit better, but you're not going to have it sit on the dirt and allow the dirt to dissolve and come off the paint at this thickness. So this would be good for really loose dirt, but it would struggle with some of the more caked on dirt. Here's another way to use this lance to wash like a really dirty car or a really expensive car if you're really anal about it. And yeah, make sure you rinse the car off, rinse all the foam off before you move on to the next step. Now there's a lot of misconception out there that you can just snow foam the car and dry it off and you're good to go, you know, even if the car is like super dirty. I'm going to show you guys that that's not true. I mean, if you've got a car that's sat in a really nice closed garage and just a bit dusty, yeah, then you can snow foam it and dry it and it should be sweet. You don't have to follow the full wash procedure. But if your car like sits outside and it's been raining or you've been driving around heaps, you can't just snow foam it and wash it off. And let me show you why. Alright, so we're at the back of the car, one of the dirty spots, you know, down the bottom here. Now, I've snow foamed this car now twice because I was showing you guys the two methods, and I'm going to get this microfiber cloth, I'm going to wipe this area, I'll use some Optics Final Boost as lubrication, and then we'll see the dirt that comes off. So give that a good couple squirts. Right, let's wipe nice and... Right, so there we have it. This thing's been foamed twice, rinsed twice, and that's the dirt that's still in the car. Now if you just dry that without any lubrication, you know, without using microfiber cloth or anything like that, you're going to rub that into the paint and that's going to cause swirls, especially if you start from the bottom or wipe the back first and then go and hit your bonnet up or something like that. So yeah, be wary guys, you know, you got to be careful if you want to protect your paint. So when you're washing a car, you got to split the car into sections, right? So how I normally do it is I'll start on the roof, do the roof and windows on both sides, and windscreen and rear window, right? So that'll be my start. I'll then move down to the bonnet, do the whole bonnet, then I'll move to the sides of the cars, and I'll split the car into half. So I won't do this bottom half, I'll do this section here, right there, first on both sides. Then I'll move to the dirtiest part of the car. I'll do the lower half here. I'll then do the full rear end because that's one of the dirtiest normally. Alright, again, starting from the top, work your way down. Move this side, again, do this whole bottom half. And then I'll move to the front. And your front's normally the worst because, well, the front and rear is normally the worst because this is the area that gets hit the most with a lot of crap, you know, it's right at the front. And then I'll do this section here, right? Also, don't forget to do your number plates, keep them clean, people. You know, have a bit of respect for yourselves. Alright, so let's go through techniques with a wash mitt. Right, so get your bucket, get your wash mitt, grind it into the grit guard, get all the dirt off of it, or if you've already washed a bit of the other car. Now, take it out. Don't wring it out or anything. Then, what we want to do is we want to go in straight lines. We're going to do the bonnet or this side panel, straight lines. Circles is what amplifies the swirls, right? So straight lines, and that'll minimize all the swirls. And use both sides of the mitts. Don't press into the paint. You just want to run the mitt across the paint nice and softly. So here, right, we run it nice and softly. Alright, we turn nice and softly, no pressure, come back, right? That's that section done. Turn the mitt over if you're going to go to a new section, right? So let's start the bonnet here, right? We'll run down, I turn, and I just run gently back, gently, no pressure, right? Okay, that's that section done. Then, get your rinse bucket, right? In the rinse bucket, give it a good scrub, get all the dirt off of it, right? Then wring it out, right? Wring the cloth out, or the mitt out, get all the dirt off of it, then back into your wash bucket to do the next section, right? Got it? Cool. Let's do the car and then we'll go through how to dry it.
We can't turn back, it's too late. This is our final highway. We can't turn back, it's too late. Gravity won't be.
Another thing I like doing is once you finish washing the car, get your wheel bucket. I know I said it's only for the wheels, but if you have something like my car and you got exhaust tips, just get your sponge, you still got a bit of soap, and get in there, you know, and give them a good clean. Alright, see all that gunk coming out of it? And get in there, give them a good clean, and this will make your exhaust tips, oh, it's going to be very wobbly on camera, just stay a lot cleaner and come out much nicer and just, you know, stay shiny instead of going that really dull, crappy colour after a while. So yeah, do that. It helps. Trust me. Wash the car and rinse the car. So make sure you rinse it. You got to rinse it. Rinse all the soap off. Get all the little stuff off. Otherwise you can have marks. Then what you want to do is get your polar seal. You want to put 4 capfuls into your snow foam lines. You want to fill your lines about halfway. You don't need it all the way up. Fill it halfway, and then go ahead and rinse the car again with snow foam lines. Have it on its max setting. Don't get it on the windows though. Don't ask me why. It's just part of the instructions. So try your best not to get it on the windows. Cover the whole car, and then we'll re-rinse. So we'll go through that, and then yeah, we'll see the results. So I've covered the whole car. You see I haven't even used all of it, so again, one of the snow foam lines is really good. So let's go ahead and rinse it off. Alright, so we've rinsed it now, and as you can see, there's some beads already, and the water, there's good adhesion on the paint there. The water comes straight off. So that's exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want. Straight off. Beautiful sheeting. And that's just from a spray and rinse off application. So that's exactly what you want. Right, so let's get into how to dry the car properly now. So to dry a car properly, there's a few things you want to do. Get yourself a good quality microfiber towel, and then what you want to do is get your hose or your pressure cleaner and soak it. Alright, get it nice and wet. Alright. Now when a microfiber cloth is wet, it absorbs a lot of water. So that's why we want to get it nice and wet. Then we want to wring it out. Alright? What you want to do is get your Aqua Wax, or like I have my Optics Final Boost. Make sure it's spraying. Just 2 sprays across the face of the cloth. And then again, nice gentle single direction drying. Right? Okay, and what's important to see here is I clearly missed a spot and there's a bit of dirt, so that's why we use this as some lubricant, because that will make sure that this dirt doesn't then scratch the paint whilst it's drying. So what's good about microfiber cloth, you can wash that out, you can switch sides. So we'll go ahead and switch sides. Alright, 2 sprays, go to the top of the bonnet here. And that's it, and then you can wring that out nicely, alright, and move on. So, just one thing, when you're holding a microfiber cloth, spread your fingers, hold your thumb, and then as you drag, you get a nice even movement and the cloth doesn't move around. So there's a bit of a tip for you guys. Alright, so you've gone through, you've done that method, you've dried the whole car is now looking really schmick, nice and shiny. You want to dry your wheels now. So same thing, get yourself a separate microfiber cloth and make sure, they normally have little white tags on them, make sure the little white tags are ripped off before you touch anything, because that will scratch the paint. So get yourself a separate microfiber cloth. Alright, same thing. Now with the rims I normally just give it a good spray because I want it to cover the back as well. You're not too stressed about the back, but good spray. Spray your cloth and then give it a good wipe. Right? Go through. Into all the little nooks and crannies. All the water. You can be a bit more aggressive with the rims because the paint's far more durable. And what you're looking for is a clean cloth. So like I can see I missed a spot, I'll do that. Alright, see we've got dirt, and that's fine, alright? Just swap to another side of the cloth, spray a bit more, and get them nice and clean. So doing it this way means that you have a super clean rim, and you're adding some protection to it, which means the brake dust, it's harder for the brake dust to stick to the rim, meaning you don't need iron out to clean it. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, nice, shiny, clean rim, dry, beauty. Right. Alright, so the last thing you want to do is you want to put some tyre shine on. So, I'm going to drop that on the floor. Get yourself like a foam applicator pad. Microfiber cloth will still do it. A foam applicator pad is the best. Get your tyre gel. And it's pretty simple. Nothing tricky here, just add a dab. Alright. And then on it goes. Okay? Away. Now the secret to getting this to stay on without it slinging is once you put it on like this, get like a blow dryer or something like that and apply a bit of heat to it, and that helps it dry. Let it sit for 10 minutes and then come back with a microfiber cloth and wipe over it once. If you want it to be glossy, repeat that process and then it'll be nice and glossy. But yeah, that's the best way to get it stick so it doesn't end up flinging across your car the second you go for a drive. Alright, so I'll go do this and then we'll get the car out and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so here it is, guys. All finished. See, comes out quite nice. Nice and glossy. Nice and clean. You'll see doing that method doesn't leave any streak marks or water spots or anything like that. Even on the windows, if we get right up close to the windows, see, no streaks. That's what you want. Nice, crystal clear, good gloss, good protection, and that's it. So there we go. If you have any questions, let me know. Just another thing, guys, I've got to show this. When you finish drying your car, make sure you go through and dry all of the door trims. Just get in there, all the door seals, make sure they're nice and dry. Alright, it just helps it out, it just makes it better. No water spots or anything like that. So yeah, just make sure you dry that, all the doors, around the boot as well. So here's another thing I want to show you guys, why we use two buckets. So when we go to our wash bucket, alright, the water's nice and clear, okay? So that's the clean water. When you go to your rinse bucket, however, alright, see how black that is? It's a bit tricky. Alright, that is why we have a rinse bucket. So if I tilt that, alright, see how dirty that is? You can't really see the bottom. Alright, this is why we use two buckets. Alright, clear, dirty. Alright, all that dirt, it doesn't affect your wash mitt or your clean water, and therefore the car is better off for it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you learnt something. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's anything you want to see me cover on the Skyline HSV or my brother's Falcon, anything like that, just let us know and I'll do my best to put a video out. Alright guys, take it easy and have a good day. Cheers.